Hi, everyone. I'm Ron Presley, and I've got a guest in the studio with me today, traveling down the road, in fact. Jeremy Coe is a Kentucky boy. I've always heard him refer to that as God's country. Is that right, Jeremy?
That's right. That's right. At least you hadn't forgot it yet.
I've heard that many times when I've been around you, really live. Now we're trying to go live here in a little mobile deal. You're moving right down the road.
We are. We are. We're headed to Helena, Arkansas for the CatMasters tournament.
So you're going to be there for the weigh-in.
We're going to be there for the weigh-in. And I think we got a lot of SeaArk Boats fishing, which is exciting. So they're all over the place.
You probably do. In fact, I'll put this little banner up there. Jeremy's now the territorial sales manager for SeaArk Boats. So, of course, I know you live in Kentucky, but I never knew you to be home very much anyway. You were always on the road somewhere.
I've always been on the road. We always joked where it was Jeremy Coe. So slowed down a lot since me and you since the other job. So
yeah, no kidding.
But now I say that I'm going to a bunch of catfish tournaments again. So.
Well, I saw a picture here a while back, and I'm going to show it to everybody. Take a look at this. Can you see that picture?
I can. I don't know who that is.
Well, that was one of my questions. I had heard rumors of who that was, but I was going to ask you if you knew who it was.
Well, he's a big, tall, goofy guy, and they make a pretty big live well for him to be able to get in it. So.
Oh, that's the thing. That's that SeaArk live well, big enough for a big old guy.
It is. That's our new Dynasty model. We're excited to have that out. 22-foot boat, but it's got a 100-gallon live well. I'm 6'7" and can lay down almost flat in it. So that was pretty impressive.
That is a big old live well, and it's needed in these catfish tournaments. It seems like anymore, especially the fish really seem to be getting bigger and bigger to me. I don't know why, but they do.
They do. We're starting to see a lot of 80s, 90, 100-pound fish. Conservation may not always go the way we want it, but it's starting to slowly work since I've been running fishing tournaments. And you're starting to see a lot of big fish in some of these big rivers and lakes, and even smaller lakes and rivers. So.
Yeah, it's better and better, and I suspect we're going to have a lot of them there to weigh in today. You're heading for Helena, and I understand that they've got 84 teams registered down there from like 16 different states. So
that's right.
Weigh-in ought to be pretty good. What do you know about it?
Well, I'm going to say one thing. It's probably the prettiest weather I've ever seen in Helena, Arkansas. Mid-80s. It's normally 150 degrees and humid.
Oh boy.
And so it's going to be a pretty day. I think they got some current, a little breeze. But you got a lot of good water, a lot of big fish being caught out of this stretch of river. Like you said, 84 teams from 16 states. I think Brian told me there was almost 20 boats from just Texas alone, which is awesome. But even better is they're giving away $42,000. First place is taking home like $16,600. So
that's going to be a nice. That's going to be a nice payout, and they keep getting a little bit bigger. But you've had a little experience directing tournaments down there, so you know a little bit about the area, and I suspect you're going to see a lot of people you know when you get there.
I think I know them all. I think I'll know the mayor, the secretary to the mayor, the chamber director. I think I've got lots of friends in Helena, so I'm excited to come back down here. Of course, all the fishermen. It's always good to see all the fishermen again, so I'm excited to see that. And the big old fish. Well, we've always had big fish in Helena.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. That's a big fish destination in there. Somebody's going to catch some really big ones. And there's a lot of really, I guess you just call them quality or skilled anglers there. Out of those 84 anglers, there's a lot of really, really good anglers.
That's right. And, this weigh-in's going to be a little different. It's going to be kind of like Crothersville. It's a little warm. The fish can get really big. I was running 5 fish weigh-ins down here, and it was so tough because these fish were so big. But they're only allowed 3 fish, which only two of them can be over 34 inches. So you're going to have a lot of teams bringing 2 big fish and a small kicker fish. And if it's like I've seen in Helena before, those kicker fish that are under 34 inches are going to be about that close to 34 inches. So
they're
they got a lot of good quality fish. Got a lot
Yeah.
of good underfish too.
Yeah. It'll be a good 3 fish weight. I'm pretty sure.
That's right. But 84 teams in Helena, Arkansas. Who would have ever thought? I was skeptical, so I'm impressed. I think that's awesome. And
Yeah.
like you said, got the best of the best down here.
Yeah, the whole catfish community, the tournament trails and everything seems to be continuing on a growth path. I guess it's got a ways to go yet, but I still see it going up, don't you?
I do. I see it going up every day. I've been doing this for 8 years, and I've seen it grow just so much in just the 8 years I've been involved in the sport. So it's really, really exciting. I'm glad to work for a company that really supports the sport of catfishing at SeaArk. Do everything they can do to support anybody and everybody. So that's been encouraging as well, past little bit.
Yeah, there are a few of the bigger, I guess you'd call them, companies that are supporting catfish pretty good, and there's a lot of little companies that support catfishing. Maybe not in the same way, but they support it, and that's what it's going to take, I think, to just keep it growing.
Yeah. The more companies that get involved and come up with different and new products for the catfish. Everybody thinks catfishing is very basic. A weight, a hook, live bait, cut bait. An anchor, and you go fishing, but it's getting really, really, there's a lot of new things coming in to the catfish world that's changing it. So not just your hook, line, and sinker that everybody thinks you do when you go catfish. So that's pretty interesting to see all the new companies and see what they come up and innovate.
Do you have a recollection in your mind about when bumping really started getting popular with everyone? Has it always been that way while you were running tournaments?
Bumping, from my experience, bumping was always popular on the guys that fish the big rivers, especially over towards Mississippi River or had been the Mississippi River. These old boys out here on Mississippi River have been doing it for a long, long time. I think it was kind of like planer boards. It was kind of a secret in its own little area, and as people started realizing it, they started enjoying it because it was fun.
Yeah.
And as the sport grows, everybody wants to learn new techniques, and so you're starting to see a lot of people bump. But I would imagine bumping come about, started getting popular more so when I started running fishing tournaments about 8 years ago. And it had, a lot of the rod companies really started coming out with a bunch of bumping rods, and everybody's got a bumping rod now. So that's been pretty interesting.
I just stuck a comment up there. Do you know Lisa Gail Haraway?
I do.
That's your Mississippi River Monsters last year's winner right there, if I remember right.
They've done pretty good down here on Mississippi River.
She said hi, and I saw a post where she doesn't have a boat right now, so I guess she's not down there, but she's watching at home. I'll bet she'll be watching that live feed. They're going to try to have a live feed later on.
That'd be awesome.
We got another fella here coming in. Let's see what he said. Who's the guy in the yellow? Hey, you know what? This is kind of a reverse deal right here. Who's usually in a yellow shirt? I mean, there was a long time went on when I was going to tournaments and such, and people thought that yellow shirt was the only one I had.
That's right. I forgot.
Well, thank goodness. Thank goodness I had a few of them to wear, but it was kind of funny. That kind of become a trademark in a way, but it's fun. But, back to that bumping thing and then mentioning the planer boards, I really do believe planer boards was one of the last best kept secrets, because when I started, and that was only a little over 4 years ago, following catfish, there weren't too many people using planer boards that I knew of. It was a while before I noticed that it was being used, and then I would ask people, what if they used them, and they said, well, yeah, but they hadn't let anybody know about it. I mean, they kind of admitted they'd always had them on the boat. So
yeah, that's right. And
catfish.
I've been really impressed at the planer boards. People use them out here on Mississippi River. I've seen them anchor in current and throw out planer boards. I always thought you had to be moving to use planer boards. So the catfish have done a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, they really have. Lisa come back there saying she can't wait to get the weigh-in, but she needs that boat. Yeah. And Dustin says yellow his color now.
That's right. I stole your thunder, Ron.
Thanks, Dustin. But he didn't say that when I was wearing yellow shirts all the time. That's the only problem. But yeah, that the Mississippi River was sort of a reason that I got to following catfish, as a matter of fact, because mutual friend of ours, Mr. T.J. Stallings,
Yeah.
was over there one day with Larry Muse, catching those big catfish. And I thought, man, that's something else. I was at the time writing and following crappie and saw those big cats and thought I'd like to do that. And of course, if you knew TJ, you say something to TJ, he's probably going to make it happen. And it wasn't long till I was on Wilson Lake with Larry Muse, and I was hooked after that one trip. I mean, they're just such an awesome fish. Kind of been following them ever since.
Yeah, TJ's very missed. He was a pretty awesome dude, and a big supporter of the catfish world as well, with Daiichi and all the other products they carried. So.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. He was much more than just the crappie, but yeah, he's very gone too soon and much missed. TJ, rest in peace, buddy.
So, what do you know? I never betted anything important, but it's always been fun when you'd come or had some people at the weigh-ins. What do you think Big Fish is going to be?
Uh-oh. Well, I mean, that's I mean, down there it could. You know what? I'm gonna give you a range. That's the way I'm gonna do it, because I never get very close when I get specific. But I think we're gonna see a 70-pound fish today.
I was gonna say 75. You know,
he's gonna say 75, so we're in the same ballpark at least. I think I've always overshot that every time you and I have done it, but we'll see what happens today. You'll be there in a little bit.
Yeah, that's right. And I think 130, 140 pounds could take the lead. If it's
I think you're better at that. You've seen a lot more of them than I have, so. Dustin got another question. Well, not a question. I guess that's a statement. You need to meet up with me and take me for a ride in that new SeaArk Extreme Custom boat. Has he got something on your boat? What's he talking about?
He did. I think he bought the Ishcomber's old boat and redid it, made a bunch of custom stuff, and basically went in and customized it even more. So.
Oh, I see what he's saying now. I thought he was.
Hadn't already been enough places.
I thought he was referring to your new boat. I missed that. Here's another message for you.
I ain't got it new. I was on the road. Tell Zach Taylor to get back to fishing.
Well, I'll tell you what. I wish I could be down there, but they're going to have that weigh-in live streamed. We're hoping, so we'll be checking in there after a while and see if they get that going. Uh-oh, did you freeze up on me? You still there? Yeah, okay, there you go.
I am.
Well, I'm going to let you guys go and keep your eyes on the road. I appreciate you joining in with us today, so carry on. Have a good time down there and be safe. I think, did you hear me, Jeremy? Oop, there we go. All right, guys. Thanks a lot for tuning in today. Fish with passion.